this month is one of the months of the year that we have to pay taxes here in the state of Florida. Now, I want to make sure I say this. I am not a tax expert. I am not an accountant. This video is not giving tax advice. However, there is one advice I am going to give you, and that is because of my personal experience. And I don't know if this applies to any other states, but it does apply to the state of Florida. And so pay attention because there is one advice I'm going to give you at the end of this video. Okay, so I've been a merchant, if you want to call it like that, in the state of Florida for a few years now, with different businesses, that have opened and closed, etc. However, last 2 years ago, I had a business that I ended up closing because I just couldn't attend to it. I was having to travel a lot for health reasons. So there was nothing. There was nothing going on with that business. So I decided to dissolve it, right? Because here in the state of Florida, you have to pay every year to keep your business open. And so I said, no, I'm going to dissolve it. Somehow, um, I don't know, maybe I didn't do it right. I don't know. But the state of Florida was expecting for me to report that I was making sales. Okay. But I wasn't. I wasn't making any sales. And so, um, you know, the second or third quarter went through, the fourth quarter, whatever. Then I get a letter saying that I owe money to the state. Not a lot, $50, but let me tell you, $50 is $50. I can buy a lot of fabric with $50. Maybe not a lot. A couple of yards, okay? So anyway, I get this letter. I'm like, why do I have to pay when I close this business? This business is no longer valid. Like it's not a business that is running. I shouldn't be paying for this. Well, come to find out that even if you have no sales, you're supposed to still report to the state that you had no sales. So, for example, I sell a product, I'm in Florida. My customer is the one paying the sales tax, not me, right? My customer is. But I am working on behalf of the state by collecting that money, holding it in the bank account for a couple of months, and then when I submit the sales for the last quarter, the last 3 months, they get their money. The state, I go ahead and I send them their money. Perfect. But if there's no sales, there is no money to send, right? In my mind, like there's no money to send if I have no sales. Well, no. The state of Florida still wants you to tell them that you had no sales. And if you collect, like for example, I'm in Florida and I sell online and digital products, some bags, whatever. If the person that is purchasing the product lives in Florida, then they pay the Florida state tax and we do the thing. But if that person does not live in Florida, then that person doesn't have to pay Florida taxes. The Florida taxes are only paid if the buyer is physically in Florida or their mailing address is in Florida. So if I have someone that is purchasing a bag from California, Illinois, Georgia, Utah, I mean, wherever, they don't pay sales taxes. So if you don't have anybody that made a purchase in Florida, why would you have to report it? Oh, no, you do. You have to report it. And you have to tell them, I made this much money, but zero of it is from Florida. All these sales, all these sales are exempt from Florida state's sales tax. So that means, hey, Florida, this is how much I made in the last 3 months, but I'm giving you zero of it because none of the customers are in Florida. Well, I didn't do that. And instead of me paying zero to the state of Florida, I had to pay $50 to the state of Florida for not doing that. So this month of July is time to report the last 3 months, April, May, and June. Guess what I did this morning? Today is July 1st. Guess what I did this morning? Without fail, I am not going to wait until the 19th of July when it's the due date. Really is before the 19th, because even if you pay on the 19th, they're going to tell you, oh, it takes 2 days to process. So we are not going to give you credit for the 19th. It's going to be the 21st. So you're late. You're going to pay $50. But anyway, so yeah, first thing, July 1st. And guess what? There was no money from anybody that lives in the state of Florida. So it was even easier because it was 0, 0, 0 on the tax part. But guys, know your laws, know the state that you live in, what it is that they require. Do as I say, not as I do. Now I learned my lesson. Now I will submit the report. Even if it's zero, I will submit the report because I don't want to pay the state $50 when I didn't collect any money for them. So they penalize me for not collecting any money, for not telling them that I didn't collect any money on their behalf. So that is my advice for the day. Again, I am not a tax expert, but I did experience that situation with the state of Florida. And of course, I paid my $50, what can you do? But anyway, yeah, so know your state laws, know when you're required to pay your taxes, your quarterly sales taxes. Now we're talking sales taxes, not the end of the year taxes, but your sales taxes, anything that is required in your state, familiarize with yourself with that. Even if you have someone doing it for you, it's always good to know what that person is doing. They can be the expert, but you want to have an intelligent conversation with that person, right? Let me get back to work and start working on the next video that I will have for you. But in the meantime, go check out my other videos. I'll see you there. Ciao.